Yo, what's up, people? Hope you guys and girls are enjoying yourself today on this Monday. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm still banned from going live on Instagram for no apparent reason. I don't know why, but it's frozen. But we're not going to waste too much time with that. We will be diving into another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. And today we're going to be talking about rest days, when to take a rest day, when not to take a rest day, everything sort of surrounding that. All right. So if this is something that you struggle with, if this is something that, you think about, but you don't really have the answer to, this might be the episode for you. You might figure out your answer today when it comes to when to take a rest day and almost in a way how to take a rest day. All right. So without wasting any time, we will be diving into the podcast in five, four, three, two, and one. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your host, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. Today, we will be talking about when to take rest days, essentially when to take them, how to take them, and how to listen to your body in a sense. Okay. But before we dive in, I want to let you know that you're welcome to join the Meathead Monsters Club. It's a free Facebook community where you get the opportunity to meet other meatheads like yourself online. All right. Also, don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your Instagram story to show support. Also, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me directly, or if you'd like to tune into the live recording to check me out, as we record and ask questions as we record, you can search for Matt Brutale on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. All right. Also, YouTube plug if you want to check me out there on YouTube, you are more than welcome to subscribe for some not safe for work content. It's kind of funny. Okay, so let's dive into the meat and potatoes, bro. Rest days, when to take them, how to take them, why are they important? Okay, well, we're not going to talk about why they're important because we know why. All the rest and stuff that we take, the time we spend away from the gym in a state of rest, once we have been hydrated, once we have been fed, is the best possible state to be in once you've trained. All right. Because that's where 99% of everything is done once you already finish training, right? You're growing, you're burning a fat. When I say growing, I'm talking about muscle. Even, well, fat too, if you're eating in a certain way, not training a certain way. All that stuff, all those changes, they happen while we are resting or while we are asleep. Okay, so that's pretty much why rest is important. So we don't need to really dive into that. I assume that you have a good head on your shoulders and you understand that. Okay, so let's look at some key indicating signs as to when you should be considering to take a rest. Okay, and this is assuming that you don't have a coach that has scheduled a rest day in for you based off of your workload, based off of your availability for the gym and things of that sort. Okay, so let's just say you're winging it at the gym, you don't have a coach, you don't know essentially what a real rest day even entails, like why should I rest on this day as opposed to that day, so on and so forth. Um so that if that's your dilemma, let's just create a little scenario over here. Okay, you notice that your joints, okay, your ligaments, they're all getting a little bit more sore. All right, a lot more sore and achy than usual. And I'm not talking about like, the soreness that you feel from when you lift weights, right? Like the muscle soreness, which is amazing. That's good. It's a sign that you're doing something good, right? But I'm talking about the soreness in your joints, like in your elbows, in your wrists, sometimes even in between your fingers, your ankles, your knees, your lower back. So joints, not necessarily muscles. Okay. Are you noticing more pain than usual this time around? And if you are, what workouts make you feel the most pain? All right. And is it at the start of your workout? Is it at the end of your workout? Okay. Ask yourself these questions. If you notice that your joints start to ache, that might be an indicating sign that you need to actually take a rest day. All right. And again, I know that there's a saying, no pain, no gain. Right. But I mean, not really. Because if you're feeling soreness in your muscles post workout, that's a great thing. As I mentioned, because when you go to the gym and you lift, we create micro tears in our muscles that give us that sore feeling. When we rest and we eat and we make sure that we're hydrated after that period of time of strain, our muscles heal those micro tears, which in turn grows the overall size of that muscle. And then rinse, lather, repeat. That's how our bodies grow muscle. Okay. So that means there's a difference in between the pain that's okay and the pain that you should be aware of. All right. A red flag, as I said earlier on, would be if you noticed, your joints and bones started to click, pop, and hurt more, way, way, way more frequently than they did previously, either the previous week or the previous workout. Okay, so this could be a sign to that your body is giving to you if you learn how to listen to your body correctly, or if you communicate this with your coach, that your body is almost giving out. Okay, it has nothing to do with your ability to perform in terms of giving out. So when I say giving out, I'm not talking about like you're getting weaker. No, I'm saying like you have the strength and the willpower, determination to get the work done, but your joints are literally not cooperating. Like you are in serious pain when you do simple movements that you were normally otherwise able to do with little to no effort, either the previous week or even the previous day. Right. So that's a sign that your body's telling you, hey, it might be time to take some rest. Okay. So that would be a red flag, right? If you've in either bench press, shoulder press, anything, notice that you're hearing like a clicking sound or you're feeling a popping feeling that you never really felt before. Those things are all things you really have to take into account. Those are red flags that can otherwise turn into an injury if you aren't proactive enough. Okay, it's all about being proactive, not reactive. You want to beat the injury before it happens instead of treating it after it happens. The old saying, what was it again? Was it a pound of cure is worth, or a pound of prevention is worth 1,000 pounds of cure? Carries out over here the exact same way. All right, you want to use your rest days in that perspective, where you can almost kind of anticipate something's going to go wrong, but you don't let it go wrong. You take your rest. Okay, by listening to those red flags, you know, bones clicking, popping, and they hurt in the bone as opposed to in the muscle. Okay, another red flag would be not being able to lift the same weight for the same amount of reps in any given workout. Okay. And it might happen due to improper nutrition every here and there. Sometimes you might be off on your meals, and that could translate into your strength or lack thereof in a workout. Or same thing with hydration. It could contribute to the lack thereof of strength in your workout, right? Or endurance. But if you have, been at least 80% on with your nutrition and your hydration is good, okay, and you still notice that within the week, your numbers or the reps that you're able to put up are going down, regardless of you making sure everything is okay, like in terms of the kitchen and getting your water in, that is also another red flag, right? You should take a step back and say, well, I'm not progressing right now. I feel like I have the energy to progress, but my body isn't outputting what I needed to output in order for me to progress. And that's a sign that, in a sense, you could be spent. It's time for you to take some time off. It's time for you to do some extra healing. Let those micro tears heal up a little bit more before you get back into it. All right. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense to you. All right. So you're asking yourself now, well, when should I actually take a rest? Most of the things are, I essentially give you guys and girls like red flags, right? Things to look out for that might mean that you are good or you're due for a rest day. But when should you actually take a rest day? And the answer is this: it will vary for everybody depending on your training style, depending on your nutrition style, goals, and overall lifestyle. So, the one thing I want you to understand is just like training routines, okay, just like nutrition routines, a rest day routine is going to be essentially custom tailored to each individual. There's no one rule that says you have to take 2 rests in a week or you have to take 3 rests in a week or whatever the deal is, because it caters specifically to you, your style of training, the outcome that you aspire to achieve. Okay, your schedule, even, because let's face it, not everybody is an athlete or going to the gym, to to look like the best in the world. Some people just want to feel healthy, look healthy, lose a bit of fat, and make that all work within their busy schedule of being a parent or having a full-time job or whatever the situation is, in which you're going to have to factor in extra rest days based off of what you're going to be doing outside of the gym as well. And if you'll have the capacity, the physical capacity to do all of those things together consistently. Make sense? But here's a rule of thumb I'll give you guys and girls that might help you formulate a rest day schedule for yourself if you don't have a coach. All right. So if your goal is to lose less than 20 pounds and you are not an athlete hell bent on being the absolute fucking best in the world, like a unit, in the sport that you compete in, I'd recommend easily between 3 to 4 days of rest. And this is on average, me speaking to parents, me speaking to, guys and girls that work full time jobs that, as I said, they're not hell bent on being some fucking athlete or something. 3 to 4 days is amazing for rest. You will perform so much better when you go back in the gym. You'll be like back on all cylinders, right? And on top of that, you'll be able to make it a consistent thing because you aren't spending every single day of the week in the gym. Which, let's face it, unless you're an athlete that is hell bent on being the best athlete ever, that's not sustainable. Even for that athlete, for myself, at the peak of my, we'll say competitive intensity, I could catch myself training between 5 to 6 days, or sorry, 6 to 7 days a week, and sometimes two times on those days. Right, I'm talking about north of 14 visits a week, which would be two times every day, 7 days. Right, but I don't maintain that throughout the year. It's only through the around the peak of, we'll say, my off season, or the peak of my on season. Right? So that goes to show even high caliber athletes don't train on all cylinders at every single gym session all the time throughout the year. It's just not possible, and it's not ideal. It's not practical, and for nobody, it's consistent for nobody. Like, nobody can make that a consistent thing. Okay, so just keep that in your mind. If you work a full time job, if you are otherwise a regular human being that just wants to lose 20 pounds, 15 pounds, 3 to 4 rest days is amazing. You can sort of play around with it. You know what I mean? Maybe 3 days rest because you feel like having that extra day, throws you off a little bit, or 4 days because you realize, well, I work 12 hours every day and I've got kids, so maybe I could use the extra day of rest. Things like that are going to help you sort of formulate what you're going to, or formulate your rest day schedule to help you not only just utilize rest efficiently, but to stay consistent. Because the last thing you want to do is give yourself a rest week and then never show up in the gym again. Make sense? Okay, so you might be required to train again. I'm speaking to you now if you are, we'll say, like a higher caliber athlete. Let's switch gears. Okay, so if you're a high caliber athlete, as I said earlier on, it doesn't mean you're gonna have to train that hard year round. Train so consistently year round. Okay, you might be required to train 5 to 6 days a week, especially if you want to be a bodybuilder. But there should also be times where you listen to your body. Again, key, listen to your body and modify your workouts, or your rest days to accommodate for the aggressive output of energy that you enjoy the gym. Right? It's, as I said, it's case specific for every individual, whether you're just working a full time job and you're a parent, or even if you're an athlete, even if you're an athlete in the same sport, in the same weight class. Okay, your ability to listen to your body is going to help you so much when it comes to learning when to sort of map out rest days, when to anticipate when your body might just crap out on you, so that you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z on that certain day, based off of the previous patterns that you've experienced, because you listen to your body and you record the information that you get once you listen to it. Okay, so for example, I train about 5 to 6 days a week or more. Again, I already explained to you during the peak of my off season or whatever it is. If I'm getting ready for a show, that changes, of course, but on average, 5 to 6 days a week. Um, and after my competition, say a week after, 2 weeks after, first of all, usually the first week after, I barely even train. Maybe I'll go once or twice. You know what I mean? But I'll just upkeep with my cardio. And that's just to give my joints a break from being so depleted, right? And lifting all those loads while being so depleted, right? I need a break. All right. So I usually train honestly between 2 to 4 times a week consecutively for weeks and weeks and weeks after I finish competition. Or sometimes I'll even take one flat week off. And the reason why I would take a flat week off is because I know that when I'm in the height of my preparation for a show, I leave no stone unturned and I train like a maniac. I literally will go to the gym 14 days a week. And unless you do that, then don't take a week off the gym. Unless you do that with while also cutting your calories super super low so that you can get depleted and get sharp for a show. Unless you're a bodybuilder, essentially, just ignore what I said. Right. So nobody should ever be taking a week off if you're just an average lifter that just wants to lose 15 to 20 pounds. But I'm just showing you on the other side of the spectrum here when you switch gears that as an athlete, a high caliber athlete, you could eventually work your way up to taking 1 week off at a time if you train hard enough. And of course, if you get what you deserve out of it. And not to say that if you don't win, that you don't deserve to rest, because that's a horrible narrative, right? Nobody should actually go by that. But it's more so of if you know that you put everything of out of everything into that work, those workouts, into that prep. If you laid it all on the table, left it all in the gym, and you know that, and your body is responding in that fashion, like you can feel your knees starting to give you pain, ankles starting to give you pain, and if you can feel it, that's a huge indicating sign that okay, well maybe it's time to like literally chill out, not do fucking shit for a week. And that's happened to me. But again, speaking to majority of you guys and girls that are not competitors, that are not high caliber athletes or professional athletes, just listen to what I said earlier on. 3 to 4 days a week is perfect. Play around with it. You will still make loads of progress. You can go to the gym 3 weeks, 3 days out of a week, okay? And in that week, lose between 1 to 2 pounds. Shoot, 1 to 3 pounds, even if your nutrition is really on. Okay, let's say just for the sake of averages, we say you lose 2 pounds here per week, which is not hard to do when you're training 3 days a week and you're doing consistent cardio and eating right. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8 pounds you're going to lose in 4 weeks. And if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, that's literally just over 2 months of doing that. Okay, we're talking about literally 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. You could lose almost 20 pounds while resting 4 days a week. It's possible. Okay, the amount of muscle that you'll be putting on, of course, that's going to be the variable that has to give in because you're not going to be spending so many days in the gym going so intense so consistently. But for what it's worth, you will lose the fat that you want to lose and build a tiny bit of muscle if your nutrition is done correctly. Okay. The moral of the story, the moral of today's podcast is rest is just as if not more important than training, eating, and hydration. It's up there. It's like the main thing rest. Yeah. And not just rest days, but sleep. Because on rest days, even, and I got to just bring this up again, rest days don't mean just sit around, do nothing at all. You could still walk your dog on the rest day. You could still do your cardio on the rest day, low intensity, if anything. You could still get active on rest day. It just means you're not going to the gym, pressing weights, and giving that strain to your joints. Okay, you can still be active, and I would recommend still being active on rest day because, just because, it's good for you. And also, mentally, it's not going to make you feel like you're restarting the engine every time you go to the gym. If you're doing some form of physical activity, even when you're not there, make sense? All right, I just wanted that to sit in your head there. All right, so our bodies get the best chance, the only chance to really heal those micro tears that we create in the gym in our muscles to strengthen our bones and all our joints. Like everything that we benefit from in the gym, we essentially get that one time period to heal from, which is rest. Okay, and if you don't know how many rest days you should be taking, I'll tell you this for like, and I talked about this so much at the gym that I actually train at because a lot of the guys actually ask me about this question when it comes to rest. If you don't know how many rest days you should be taking, hire a coach. All right, hire a coach that can help you learn how to listen to your body. All right, that's what I do essentially with my clients. Not all my clients take the same rest days or have the same amount of rest days. Given that some of them are athletes and some of them are, just regular human beings, that's one thing on the side. But aside from that, their bodies respond differently to nutrition and training, which means if I teach them how to each individually listen to their body, they'll sort of anticipate when they might need a rest day, which we can, of course, talk about and see that they'll actually need that rest day. But I'll tell you this much once you do it over and over and over again, and you sort of get a feel for it. When I say over and over again, I'm talking about maintaining consistent, going to the gym over again, eating consistently, training, drinking your water, all that stuff. When you're doing all those good things consistently over and over and over again, you not only begin to learn about your body in the aspect of training and like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit sore, but like no, like you also know which carb sources your body responds best to. You also know how much water you typically need to drink before you tend to start feeling XYZ, whether it's bloating, whether it's whatever it is. Okay. You'll learn about your body in the process of burning fat and building muscle, which is the key here. Because the more information you get about your body, the more answers or the more questions you can potentially ask, and the more answers you may potentially get to your question, which can help ultimately burn fat, build muscle, transform your body in the way that you actually desire to. All right. Most of our transformation, if not all of it, happens in our sleep. Resting is not only absolutely essential, it's inevitable. Make sense? All right. Okay. So, if you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Feel free to DM me if you want to join the Natural Nomad Academy and lose 25 pounds yourself. Also, I want to let you know, guys and girls, I will not be monetizing this podcast because I simply respect your time. And I just want you to get the information from my head to yours. All right. Don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG stories to show support. It would really, really, really go a long way. I'd really, really appreciate if you did that. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. All right, folks. Podcast is all rolled. We recorded it. It's all done. All right. So that's it. That's all, people. Instagram is down. So I don't know why it's still down. Honestly, I have to go check that out. It's a big issue with my account. I haven't been able to go live for just about a week, almost a week. I no, just over a week now. So that's what it is. But thankfully, I've got Facebook here. I've got the TikTok, I've got YouTube. So you guys, and the podcast, of course. So you guys can pretty much see me anywhere else. But it still is kind of annoying. Something I got to fix. But I appreciate each and every single one of y'all showing out today. We will be back again tomorrow with another episode. You know what time it is. Appreciate each and every single one of you. We out. Boom.